Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. If it's your first time here, I don't know how you found me, but I'm glad you did. And if you've been here before, thanks again for stopping back by. You know I have a great joke. Today I'm going to show you how I make macaroni and cheese. I'm only using two different types of cheese. I've already started to grate half of the sharp cheddar, and I'm using Velveeta. And if you don't want to use Velveeta, I know it gets a bad name, processed cheese, you can use American. I'm not using any eggs. The American cheese will also keep it creamy, and this really is the cheater to make it creamy. We like black pepper on ours, but I'm not going to put it on there until after we get ready to eat. I'm going to use 2 tablespoons of flour, 2 tablespoons of butter. I've got carnation evaporated milk. I don't know if you guys know this, but it's better than using milk. It has less of the water in there and you get a creamier texture. You know, I got my sea salt, and this is something you're probably not hip to. It's called 𝐵𝐏𝐿, and it's also a nuto. I think it's ANNUTO. It is a color, it's a condiment coloring like for food. It gives no taste or anything. It actually, supposedly, is what they use to color cheese, because cheese is not this orange when they make it. Got elbow macaroni, got some left. I don't know how much I'm gonna need. I also have an extra box. So as you see, I got my water heating up. I'm not gonna show you how to boil pasta. I've done it several times. So I'm gonna put you guys on pause, and once the pasta's done, I'm gonna come back and show you how I make the roux for the cheese sauce. I'll be right back. Okay guys, welcome back. I've got the pot on, same one I cooked the noodles in. Got my macaroni spatula. That was 2 tablespoons of butter that I put in the pan, well it's the pot. And I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of flour to that. What I'm gonna do is make the cheese sauce. I only ended up using half of the Velveeta, so I put it in a plastic Ziploc bag, wrapped it up, and I put it in another Ziploc and put it in the freezer. And I only grated up half of the sharp cheddar. I really wanted extra sharp, but I couldn't find it, you know, my usual. Anyway, so I got sharp cheddar cheese. If I need more, I'll grate up more, but for this amount of macaroni, since it's only, I'm using a 9x9, I shouldn't need that much cheese. And you know, I'm the only person that you guys are watching on YouTube probably that doesn't like to cook. You know, that's my disclaimer. And just so you know, today is Thanksgiving. That is why I'm cooking today, because you know, I have to kind of, you know, I'm married and everybody wants Thanksgiving dinner, so I'm cooking. I'm over here fighting with this box while I'm waiting for the butter to get. Oh, anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and add 2 tablespoons of flour to this. Now you don't want this to get brown, not at all, because it will change the taste, and you're not making gumbo, so it doesn't need to be brown. I've got it on high, so I will probably, I'm going to turn it down and have to pull it off. And I'm going to start whisking, because I should have been whisking in the first place. So let me get the whisk and get that going, because you don't want it to be lumpy. And that's why people use the processed cheese. That's the cheater, because it'll make it creamy. And a lot of people add butter. I'm not adding any other butter other than this butter here, because see, it makes it separate. And you really just need to cook this like 1 or 2 minutes to get the flour taste out of the flour. Cooking it in the butter. So I'm just cooking that a few more minutes to make sure that's cooked. And then I have the carnation milk. I want to add a little at a time. Crank the heat back up and keep whisking, because you want this to be smooth before you start adding your cheese. So I'll just keep whisking this. Add some more milk. See, this is why I don't do homemade gravies and things, because this is an added step. And since I'm not using eggs, see, when you use a processed cheese, you really don't need the eggs, because it'll tighten up. Or if you do a roux, I should say, and add the processed cheese, it'll tighten up and make it really smooth. So, you know, I mean, I don't mind with the egg. And another disclaimer, I am not using, cut this down, mozzarella or any kind of cheese like that, because I don't like my mac and cheese to be pulley. I mean, where it's gooey and the stretches, I don't like that. So I didn't say I wouldn't eat it. I just don't really care for my mac and cheese to be like that. And it's funny, My sister doesn't like it in the oven. Nope. She just likes it on top of the stove. I don't care how you fix it. Once you put it in the oven, she's not very happy. So I'm gonna go ahead and add the rest of this. That's 1 can. I opened up 2 because I don't know if I'm gonna need the full 2 cans of milk. Oh, and also this here, like I said, as you add the milk, as you see, the cheese sauce is getting lighter in color. And I had a girlfriend that passed away, Chris, rest in peace. Her macaroni and cheese was always super orange. And I found out that she was using something like this. I think I heard she was using a noodle. Pretty much the same thing. As you see, this is getting thicker. So I'm gonna add more milk. Cut this back up on high. And since I only have a 9x9, it's kind of hard to gauge how much cheese sauce I'm gonna need. So even if it's too much, it doesn't matter, because I'll freeze it or something. I'll probably make a broccoli casserole or something for myself tomorrow. Okay, and this is getting thick. Just want to keep whisking it because you don't want it lumpy. And I'm using a silicone whisk because I don't want my pots to scratch. So, and you know I got a good joke for you guys. So I'm not gonna talk. Maybe you can listen to some music, or I'll have this sped up for the editing. But I want this to cook a little while longer and get hotter before I start adding the cheese. Get a little thicker. I'm gonna first start by adding the processed cheese. And I've cut it up into bite-sized little pieces to melt that first and get that incorporated. Okay, so now I'm going to start adding the sharp cheddar cheese, a little at a time. Mix that in. Oh, and this is when I like to add the coloring. If I can get it to come out. Here we go. This gives it a more orange color like cheese. I like that. I find it more appealing to the eye. Personally, add some more. Yeah, it looks like I'm going to have to grate some more for the top. I'm going to cut this off. Because you know my stove is electric, so it will stay hot. I like more color. Okay, I'm going to put you guys on pause and change positions. Okay guys, I'm back. I'm going to, I grated some more cheese off camera, and I'm going to add a little bit of salt. I went ahead and mixed this in. So I'm going to add a little bit of salt to this. I didn't add any salt at all. Just I salted the water and get this mixed up. And what I did off camera also, I checked it with my pan. I sprayed it with Pam. I had way too much pasta for that pan. So I'm going to go ahead. Here it is. Put this in the oven. Yikes. I'm going to cover it with the sharp cheddar. I'm going to bake this at 375 for 10 to 15 minutes, covered in foil. And then after 10 or 15 minutes, I'm going to take the foil off and go another 30. Oh, and another disclaimer I meant to tell you guys. When making mac and cheese, really, you shouldn't use this. And you know I'm the biggest cheater in the world. I'll use it for lasagna and other things. But if you're going to do homemade baked mac and cheese, you really shouldn't use this. It's got a chemical on there that prevents it from sticking, as you see. And it won't be creamy. It'll be more work to make it creamy. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in the oven. I'm going to cover it with foil and show you what it looks like in a few minutes. Okay guys, I've got it on the top rack. I don't know if you guys know this, but heat rises, so you want to put it on the top rack. It's been 10 minutes, so I'm going to uncover it now and put it back in the oven for another 30 minutes, and then it should be done. And that'll be baked macaroni and cheese with 2 cheeses. Stay with me, and I got my joke. Hi everyone, still with me? I'm going to go ahead and take it out of the oven. It's about 6 minutes shy, 6.5 of being the full 30 minutes, but I'm going to take it out. I'm going to switch views. Stay with me. Okay guys, now I'll tell you my joke. This farmer walked into a bar and he got a drink. He sat down next to a lady and he said, "I'm celebrating." And the woman said, "Oh, this is a special day for me too. I'm also celebrating." "What coincidence," said the farmer as they clicked glasses. He added, "What are you celebrating?" She said, "My husband and I have been trying to have a child, and today my gynecologist told me that I am pregnant." "What a coincidence," said the man. "I'm a chicken farmer, and all last year my hens were infertile, but they are now all laying eggs again." "That's great," the woman said. "How did your chickens become fertile?" He said, "I used a different cock." The woman smiled, clicked his glass, and said, "What a coincidence." There you go. There's the mac and cheese. Jen's mac and cheese, your girl who doesn't like to cook. The only one on YouTube who has a channel who does not like to cook. But out of necessity and my love for food, I love to eat. Happy Thanksgiving, you guys. That's why I'm cooking. You should have picked up on that. It's a holiday. So unfortunately, you won't see this for a couple weeks, but this is Jen's mac and cheese, only 2 cheeses, and you might want to think about trying the condensed milk. It's 60% less water. It's more milk fat. Thanks for watching. God bless, and please subscribe. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Jennifer. If you've been here before, you know I tell a joke at the end of every video, and if you're new, thanks for liking my thumbnail and clicking. If you like this video, please subscribe. Today I'm going to make my mother's chicken dressing recipe. We like chicken forward dressing. We don't use a lot of sage, even though I got some sage there, rub sage. I got a box of chicken stuffing. Cut up some celery, some green onions, no green peppers. We don't put green peppers in ours. And you see this little cute pan of cornbread that she gave me because it's just for my husband and I. I got some poultry seasoning, cream of chicken, cream of celery, a stick of butter, some chicken broth, and she uses chicken base. I've got 2 different kinds. I think one came from Sam's and one came from someplace else, but it's like a chicken soup base. Like I said, ours is chicken forward. We don't like sage dressing, even though I use my mother uses just a little bit, she said. And that's about it, and some butter. I guess that's to saute the vegetables. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the cornbread crumbled up and get the butter in the skillet with the chicken broth so I can cook the vegetables. And like I said, we don't use any green peppers, and you know I love them, but not in our dressing. This is a really chicken forward base dressing. So stay with me, I'll be right back. Okay everyone, I'm back. I'm sauteing, I'm trying to melt the butter. And here, like I said, I've just got green onions and celery because we don't use any bell pepper in ours. Now, am I supposed to, my mother's here with me, am I supposed to add the broth to this? For a few minutes. Okay, yeah, she's coaching me on this, guys, because believe it or not, I've never made dressing. My mom is the master cook. She does all the cooking. Like I said, I don't fry chicken. We just eat her chicken, or I go to Kentucky Fried or Popeyes. But since she's here, normally what happens, since it's just my husband and I, when she makes her dressing, she'll make a bunch for me and freeze it before she cooks it, and then she'll bring it to me, or I'll go get it. And then I'll warm it up, put it in a pan, warm it up, and then serve it. So this is the way my husband likes it. This is the way he's used to having it. So I'm just sauteing these vegetables to get them soft. And then she said that we have to add some chicken broth to this after I get these soft. So I'm gonna cook these for a few minutes because you guys know I don't like a long video, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, I'm back. She said to start adding the broth. How much broth do I add? About a cup. So I'm gonna eyeball this, guys, because you know I didn't measure this. So, and I've got my pot, bowl here. So I've got the cornbread, and I'm gonna go ahead and start crumbling this up just for sake of time. And this is not sweetened cornbread. It's not Jiffy cornbread. There's probably some cornbread recipes online. Jen doesn't make cornbread, or I haven't really yet. But this is just regular cornbread, just to make sure it's not sweetened and it's not jiffy. And I would crumble this up really, really good. Cook these, you want these to be good and soft, because you don't want any crunchy vegetables in your dressing. Your dressing should be nice and smooth when you eat it. Shouldn't be any crunches in there. I know the Obamas like, they're famous for oyster dressing. I don't like it, I love oysters, but I do not want them in my dressing at all. It's a deal breaker. Changes the flavor. But yeah, if you like green peppers, add them. You can always enhance this dressing, but we think it's delicious because it's 100% chicken and poultry forward. It's just a little bit of sage. You won't even taste the sage or notice any sage in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and put you guys on pause, and I'll be right back. Hi everybody, I'm back. Now what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna add the chicken stuffing. This is a box, it's chicken. Now if you want more sage forward, go with sage. Now I'm gonna add the vegetables. Then you're going to add this. And it doesn't come with a seasoning pack or anything. And we're not adding eggs. We don't add eggs to our dressing. So I'm going to add just half of the can of cream of celery. And I'm going to add half of the cream of chicken to this. Look, about half in there. Go ahead, get this mixed up. And then I've still got my chicken broth here. So I'm going to go ahead and get this mixed. Show you guys me mixing this up to get it to the right consistency. And this is one of those dressings that you'll have to taste. And like I said, since we're not using eggs, you can taste it all that you want. So I'm gonna get this mixed up some more. And I'm gonna get my mom back in here off camera to find out how much broth and everything to add to this. And then how much of the chicken base and the sage and the poultry seasoning. So stay with me, I'll be right back. And remember, I got a great joke. Okay guys, I'm back. My mom came in the kitchen and said I had to add the full cans of the chicken and the cream of celery soup. I can't believe that little bitty pan of cornbread made all this dressing. I mean, this is like a lot for my husband and myself. So getting this all mixed in, and she said you have to use a tablespoon of the chicken flavor base. So that's what I'm going to do, roughly. Like I said, we like it chicken forward instead of sage forward. And I'll get this all mixed in. Chicken broth. It's too hard to stir with that. Let's get this. And this is one of those, like I said, you have to taste and keep tasting until you get it like you like it. So now I'm gonna add a little bit of I'm using rubbed sage, and like I said, there's supposedly the unrubbed sage is stronger. So if you're not a big sage person, I would go with the rubbed, and we're not. And I'm only using that much. I know it's well, maybe a little bit more, but that's it. We don't like a lot of sage in our dressing. I know you say, why add that little bit? Trust me, it's enough to give it just enough flavor without you tasting the sage. It's kind of like adding chocolate to chili. You won't taste the chocolate, but it gives it a different dimension of flavor. Okay, I'm gonna put you guys back on pause, have my mother check this for consistency and everything, and then I'll be right back. Okay guys, I'm back. I'm gonna add some black pepper. Now my mother adds a little bit of red pepper to this. I don't have any, but she said it changes the flavor just a little bit, doesn't make it hot. And unfortunately, I forgot to tell you guys, you need a teaspoon of poultry seasoning. I already put that in there off camera. I apologize for that. So I got this all mixed up and it's all set. And what I'm gonna do is put this in a baking dish and get ready to bake this. Now you don't want your dressing to be dried out. You want it moist. So basically, and everything in here is cooked. And like I said, there's no eggs in mine. So you just have to warm it through. So I'm gonna put you on pause, put this in a pan, get ready to bake this, and stand by for my joke. Okay everyone, I'm back. As you see, it's much looser and wet. My mother added a lot more chicken broth to this. And disclaimer, make sure you use low sodium chicken broth if you're not gonna make your own. And definitely use low sodium butter because you don't want this to be salty. I'm spraying my dish. I shouldn't spray it here. But anyway, because the chicken base is very, very salty. It's kind of like the little package you get in ramen noodles. So I sprayed my pan here, and I'm gonna put this in here. And also, she said if you like, what she normally would have done is tore up pieces of cooked chicken breast, and mixed in here with this, so it would be more like chicken and dressing to definitely take up the chicken flavor. As I said, this is a chicken forward dressing. You see it's real smooth and creamy. Now I'm gonna cover this and I'm gonna cook it on 350 for 30 minutes covered. And it's gonna be, I'm gonna put it on the top rack. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I put it in the oven. I put it on not the highest it would go, but I put it from the second to the top. So I'm gonna cover this, and I want it to cook for 30 minutes covered. And then I'm gonna come back and take the cover off just to brown the top. And I think I told you guys before, you know, with my biology degree, I just have to give you a little bit of tidbit if you didn't know, you know, heat rises. So you definitely wanna make sure, use the top rack. That's where it's the hottest. So in it goes. I'll set the timer for 30 minutes and then I will come back, take it out, and we'll look at it and I'll tell you my joke. Okay, it's been 30 minutes and it looks like it's barely even cooking, but I'm gonna put it back in. It's on 375. You see my timer died. So I'm gonna slide it back in for another probably 30 minutes. I'll let you know once I notice how long it's gonna take to cook this, but I want it browned on the top. And it's supposed to be creamy. We don't have our dressing like really dry, but that is way too wet. So I'll be right back. Okay guys, this is what it looks like. It took a full hour. I ended up going at 350 for 30 minutes covered, and then I took the foil off and put it back in for another 30 at 350. And I'll give you a disclaimer. That little bitty spot right there, it came off when I took the foil off, so I patched it and put it back in. But let me tell you my joke. A teacher is teaching a class and she sees that Johnny isn't paying attention. So she asks him, if there are 3 ducks sitting on a fence and you shoot one, how many are left? Johnny says none. The teacher asks, why? Johnny says, because they got scared and they all flew off when they heard the shot. The teacher says, no, the answer is 2. But I like how you're thinking. Johnny asked the teacher, if you see 3 women walking out of an ice cream parlor, one is licking her ice cream cone, one is sucking her ice cream cone, and one is biting her cone, which one is married? She said, oh, the one that's sucking the cone. He said, no, the one that's wearing the wedding ring. But I like the way you think. So anyway, that's it. That's my joke. Hope you guys enjoyed my video. Please like and subscribe. Like I said, this is chicken dressing. There's very little sage, just really chicken forward. And I know a lot of people, that's why I sprayed it. Or you can use butter, go around the pan and you'll get crispy edges or whatever. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and you guys should be watching this right around Christmas. So Merry Christmas, God bless you guys, and stay healthy, and hope to see you on the next one. Bye-bye. Okay, I've taken some out so you can see it's still really moist, brown on the top, not real hard. And here I put it on a plate. As you see, it's soft, a little bit crunchy on top. I like mine with cranberry sauce. My husband has to have gravy, so do your thing. Like I said, it's chicken forward. You taste chicken, big time chicken. If you want more sage, add sage. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to make candied sweet potatoes. I made a purpose to buy them in this package so you could see the difference. There is a major difference between sweet potatoes and yams. They come from 2 different families. And if you see, these are tubular. They have like pointed ends and they're oranger in color and the skin's thin. I wanted to get a yam to show you guys to compare, but once again I forgot or didn't get one, whatever the reason. They're more round, they're more fibrous, they're lighter in color, they're not as orange. And a girlfriend of mine named Stella, since everybody now has seen my channel and they're requesting that I give them credit, she told me about 30 years ago, I bought these to make a pie, then I changed my mind at the last minute and decided to make candied sweet potatoes. She said, buy them small. They're less likely to have those fibers and those straws and strings when you're making pie. There is a way to get them out, but who wants to deal with that? And ever since she told me that, I try and get them little, but if you don't mind going through the couple extra steps to get rid of the strings, if you're gonna make pie, then get them bigger. I'm gonna go ahead and get everything set up. I've got cinnamon, pure vanilla, some allspice, butter, brown sugar, and cinnamon and sugar. I'm debating on whether or not if I'm going to use the allspice and ground cinnamon. If I do, it'll be just a little, and I'm also chewing on how I'm going to cut these potatoes. I have my mandolin. I'm going to peel them for sure, and I have a knife, 2 different knives. So we'll see how this works out. I'll be right back. I'm going to put you guys on pause and get the potatoes washed and cut some of them up to save on time. Okay everyone, I decided to peel them with the peeler, and that is the safest way unless you're old school and you're good with the paring knife. I wouldn't do it any other way. I've got the other 3 already peeled, and then I'm thinking about, I really want to use the mandolin because I'd like them all to be the same size. So I'm going to see if that'll work out for us. If not, I'll go off camera and use the knife, because anybody that's a nurse or works in the healthcare profession, a physician, or the ER really, you do not want to spend your day off in the emergency room, because I'm going to give you a little tip. It can play 2 ways with a laceration. They can be very busy with shortness of breath, people that can't breathe, chest pain, strokes. those sutures will be last. If they're slow or they've got somebody that can sew on the side, you could be in and out. They might put you in a room and have somebody suture up and get you going, get your tetanus shot and get you on your way. But I don't want to take any chances because I would just be so mortified to have to sit in the ER on my day off for some sutures. I've done it before, it bites. So I'll be right back and see if I can get the mandolin working and show you how that works. Okay everyone, I'm back. I'm not really happy with the mandolin. I don't know if I've got it. They're kind of too thin for what I want. I don't quite want them that thick. So I'm going to put you on hold and play with this again and see if I can't get them to the desired thickness. Because if not, these are too thin. I want them about that size together. So I'm going to play with this, or I might have to go to the knife. I'll be right back. Okay guys, I'm back. I've got my burner on high, and what I'm going to add is 1/4 of a cup of water and let that come to a boil. And what I did was I used the knife because the mandolin was slicing them too thin. So what I decided, I'm going to put those on top, and I'm going to put the thicker cut ones on the bottom, so they'll cook longer because they're thicker. I like them a little thicker, and I like them cut in half also because that way they're easier to eat with a fork. And what I'm going to do here is put some brown sugar on top and some white sugar, just kind of layer it, and then put some more potatoes on top. And layer it again. Some more brown sugar and white sugar. I'm going to put the last potatoes on top, and these are the thinner sliced ones because I got this recipe from my Aunt Pauline, and she said you got to cook them on top of the stove, and I'm sure you can cook them in the oven. She just said you had to. And I've got it on high right now, and I'm going to cut that down to medium high and let those cook. And what you don't want to do is have the lid completely on. That will burn your potatoes. And what a lot of people don't know is that potatoes have a lot of water, like cabbage. And most of the time when people serve sweet potatoes, they're having sweet potatoes. They're not really candied yams, even though they'll call them candied yams. And the secret to this is you don't touch them. And I got the orange juice here because I forgot to tell you guys, I'm going to add a little bit of splash of orange juice to that. So I'm going to go ahead and let these cook they got to cook for at least 10 minutes. So I'm going to set the timer and not mess with them, and then I'll come back and show you guys what I'm doing to them. Okay guys, so they've been cooking about 8 minutes, so I'm going to pull them off the heat, and what I'm going to do is start flipping them over, the ones on top, so they can get some of the caramelization on top also. And I'm going to put some more brown sugar and cinnamon, and I'm going to put just a little bit of allspice because I want to keep them orange, and I know that kind of messes them up. And I'm adding some pure vanilla, and then a tiny bit of cinnamon, and then put them back on. I'm going to add a little bit more brown sugar and let them keep cooking. So I'll be right back. Okay everyone, I got about 7 seconds left, so I'm going to pull them off the stove, and I'm going to flip them over really good. So the bottom ones now are on the top, and the top ones are now on the bottom. Let me cut that off. And then I'm going to cook them another 10 minutes. I'm going to give them a splash of OJ and put them back on and let them continue to cook. And as you see, some of them are already starting to break up. So that means they're cooking, because you want them to have some texture, kind of almost a little bit of orange juice, like a scalloped potato. You don't want them really mushy when they're candied. So I'm gonna let these go 8 minutes and then come back and show you guys what they look like. Okay everyone, they're done. I'm gonna cut them off, and then what you do here, I'm gonna remove them from the heat, and I'm gonna add, not quite a stick of butter. I'm just gonna drop that in. Not gonna stir these at all. Just add the butter and put the lid back on and let it melt. And then I'll come back Now, what I'm going to do is tell you guys my joke. Then I'll come back. Okay. Unfortunately, the neighbors next door had a little baby that was born without ears. And the parents were so afraid next door of their little son, Johnny, of what crazy thing he might say. So when they arrived home, the couple, they invited little Johnny and his family over to visit the baby. So little Johnny's parents were very afraid of some wisecrack he might say about the baby. So little Johnny's dad had a long talk with little Johnny before going to the neighbors. He said, "Now son, that poor baby was born without ears. Oops. You will not say one word about his ears. I'm going to really spank your butt when we get back home, I promise." The son said, "I promise, Dad, I will not mention his ears at all." At the neighbor's home, little Johnny leaned over the crib and touched the baby's hand. He looked at his mother and said, "Oh, what a beautiful baby." The mother, who braced herself for Johnny's comment, was pleasantly surprised and said, "Thank you very much, little Johnny." He then said, "This baby has perfect little hands and perfect little feet. Why, just look at his pretty little eyes. Did his doctor say he could see good?" The mother was a bit bewildered. Hesitantly, she replied, "Why, yes. His doctor said he has 20/20 vision. Why do you ask?" Little Johnny said, "Well, it's a good thing because he'd be screwed if he needed to wear glasses." Okay, terrible. You can't take him anywhere. So anyway, I'm going to take the lid off and show you the final product of the sweet candied sweet potatoes. And this is what they look like. And take a fork and stick them. They're perfectly cooked. They're soft. They have a little texture to them and a little bit of bite. And if you like them sweeter, you know they're never too sweet for me, add some sugar. You know, make sure your sugar content is correct. Because I like them sweet. You might want to cut back on the sugar. So I'm going to put you on pause and show you this in a bowl. Okay, everyone, there's the finished product, all done, delicious. For me, they could have been a little bit sweeter, but I guess they're okay. As far as the sweetness goes, they're sweet, but you know they're never too sweet for me. Give this recipe a try. It only takes 25 minutes tops, minus the prep time. And like I said, the mandolin that I have, it slices them too thin. It's more for a gratin. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video and my joke. Please hit the subscribe button, and I will see you on the next one. God bless and have a good evening. Hey everyone, your girl's back with another video. This is bacon wrapped maple glazed carrots. Now I've got fresh cracked black pepper. That's maple syrup. This is thin smoked bacon. It's got to be thin, and you know, another way of calling it is streaky bacon. And you need carrots, and you need them with the tips on there. I'm going to cut all those off. I'm going to wash these. And a disclaimer, I like my carrots cooked. I don't like them crunchy. So technically for this recipe, they need to be about an inch thick. That way when the bacon's cooked, they won't be real soft, but I like my carrots soft. My favorite way is in a roast. So I got lucky when I ordered these online and went to the grocery store, and they put them in the trunk. That mine are small. And as a disclaimer, had they been big, if you don't like them, if you can't find them small like I have them and you like them soft, you can cook them in carrot juice or what do you call it, chicken broth, and you can like blanch them in that for a couple minutes, then shock them and then wrap them in the bacon. But anyway, I'm gonna get everything set up. This is a quick video. These take a little bit in the oven. I'm kind of torn between, I'm using parchment paper. I would rather use a wire rack, but most of the recipes they use parchment paper, so we're gonna try that. Put you guys on pause and get the carrots washed and cleaned and cut. Be right back. Okay everyone, I'm back. I did not peel my carrots. Technically you can, but I'm trying to be healthier these days, so I left the skin on. I just scrubbed them really good, and I used soap and water and baking soda. I cut the leaves off, but technically you should leave a little bit of the tip on for decoration. So I'm going to start from here and wrap these. And like I said, my carrots are definitely smaller, thinner I should say, than what any recipe would call for. But that's on purpose because I like my carrots cooked, well done, pretty much, as you guys would say, mushy. And nobody likes a mushy carrot except for Jen. So there's one. And I guess you normally make about 12 of these. So I just got 2 bushels when I ordered them online from the grocery store. And then I just went out there and picked them up. So like I said, I got lucky that they weren't really thick, because a couple days later I ended up having to go back to the grocery store, and I was inside and I looked and all of them were really, really thick carrots, which I was like, oh no. So you see the gist of that, me wrapping these. I'll do one more, then I'll put you guys on pause and get these all wrapped. And you're supposed to cook them for about 40-45 minutes, and you baste them in the maple syrup after about 20-25 minutes. And you can make them spicy, but you know I can't, because I want my husband to eat some of these and he doesn't do spicy food. If you like spicy stuff, add a tablespoon of sriracha sauce to the maple syrup, and that will give them a little kick. So I'm gonna put you on pause, and you guys know I got a great joke. I'm gonna get these all done and then I'll be right back. Okay, everyone. Yeah, look, kind of bit me in the tail. See, these are a little bit too little to wrap in bacon. I could, because it wouldn't hurt my feelings for the bacon to be, for these to be well done and the bacon to be cooked. But I'm just gonna stop with those amounts, because just for my husband and myself. And then for these, you supposed to put fresh cracked black pepper on them. So that's what I'm going to do on each one. Some recipes said salt, but I'm not doing any salt. I figure bacon is salty enough, and I'm trying to show you guys a few little healthier things, or make the things I eat a little bit healthier. Okay, so they're all set. I'm gonna put these in the oven, 400 degrees for 20 minutes. Come back, show you guys how they look, and then we baste them, and then supposedly turn them. Let me put you on pause. Okay, I'm gonna take them out. It's been 20 minutes. That's what they look like after 20 minutes. So now I'm supposed to baste these in some maple syrup and get the good stuff, supposedly, you guys. It makes a difference. Make sure I glazed them all. Okay, now I'm going to take a pair of tongs and turn them over to cook for another 20 to 25 minutes. Shoot, it's probably easier just to turn them like this. Yeah. I was a little worried using parchment paper, even though I've recently fallen in love with it, because I thought maybe they would cook better on a wire rack. But we shall see. So turning them over, and I think I'm going to hit them again with some more fresh cracked black pepper, since this side technically didn't get any. And you know your girl is all about the flavor. Okay, so I'm gonna put these back in the oven and set the timer again for another 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and then check them and see, because the bacon has to be done. For me, it's not about the carrots, it's about the bacon. So check back with you guys in about 20-25 minutes. I'll put you back on pause. And remember, I got a great joke. Okay guys, it's been another 20 minutes. So I'm gonna take them out. And that's how they look after 40 minutes. So I'm gonna baste them on this side. I already did, right? Yeah, I basted them on this side. I'm gonna turn them over. And no, I did not. I'm gonna baste them on this side. Getting confused here. My house smells so good. This is unbelievable. This would really be good, like I said, if you were gonna have people over, or you just wanted to have a pretty holiday display for dinner on any special occasion. And this is Sunday night. My husband has no idea I am fixing these. These are like a little snack for us, not really for dinner. So I'm gonna turn them again, because the bacon is not cooked to my desired likeness. And put them back in the oven for another 15 minutes, and then I'll check them and see. Because I guess to roast vegetables, they need to be up high, and they need to cook a good 40 to 45 minutes. So I'm gonna put you guys back on pause, put this back in the oven, and then come back, we'll take another look. Stay with me, got a great joke. Okay guys, took a full 45 minutes. There they are out of the oven. They look absolutely amazing. And as I stated, if you don't like your carrots mushy or super soft, go as big as you can and just go the 40 or 45 minutes. So I'm gonna get this set up and tell you guys my joke. Okay guys, there you have it. Maple glazed, bacon wrapped carrots. Don't they look great? They are really, really good. Sticky as all get out. Let me tell you my joke. An atheist was sitting next to a little girl on a plane, and he turned to her and said, "Do you want to talk? Flights go quicker when striking up a conversation with your fellow passengers." The little girl, who was reading her book, set her book down and replied to the stranger, "What do you want to talk about?" He said, "Oh, I don't know," said the atheist. "How about why there is no God or heaven or hell, or is no life after death?" as he said smudgingly, smiling smudgingly. "Oh," she said, "that would be interesting. Those would be interesting topics. But first, let me ask you a question. A horse, a cow, a deer all eat the same stuff, grass. Yet a deer excretes pellets, while a cow turns out flat patties, and a horse produces clumps. Why do you suppose that is?" The atheist, visibly surprised by the little girl's intelligence, thinks about it and says, I have no idea. To which the little girl replies, "Do you really feel qualified to discuss God, heaven, and hell, or life after death when you don't know shit?" And then she went back to reading her book. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching. If you like, please like, subscribe, and share. Give these a try. Like I said, they look really pretty on a holiday table, or just for Sunday dinner, or if you just want to do something special for your loved one or your partner or whomever. God bless. Thanks for watching, and come back for the next one. Hi, I don't know how you found me, but I'm glad you're here. I'm Jennifer. I'm going to show you my collard green recipe. This recipe is spicy, smoky, salty, vinegary, and savory. And the broth is bold and rich, and the greens are very, very tender. What you see here is a sink full of greens. I've been washing them for 3 hours, going back and forth after I've cleaned my sink with Clorox, and the water's ice cold. And I'm gonna go ahead and drain these and show you how I cut them up and show you all the spices. Welcome to my channel. This is the cooking channel for people who don't like to cook, don't have time to cook, don't wanna cook, or don't like to cook. Let me put you on pause and show you the ingredients. Okay, I've got a smoked turkey wing. I'm going to take this knife and put some cuts in there, because you want to do that before you put it in the broth. I'm using chicken broth and water. I have an onion. I have a special trick for that. I'm going to be using the toothpicks for that, because I'm not going to have cut up onions in my greens. I'm going to use some soup base, chicken soup base, some apple cider vinegar. The spice is going to come from the red hot hot sauce. Use some garlic powder, some seasoning salt, some black pepper to offset the vinegar, 1 tablespoon of brown sugar. So let me turn the camera around. Let's get cooking. Okay, I put my turkey wing in the pot, and you can see where I've made the slits inside the meat. I'm going to cover this with chicken broth and water. I'm going to let this simmer for about 45 minutes. This is going to give you your rich flavor for your greens. And if anybody knows anything about greens, greens are all about the pot liquor, or the juice that they're cooked in. This is where you get all your flavor. If your pot liquor isn't delicious, your greens won't be delicious, no matter how long you cook them. I'm going to cover this with chicken. This is unsalted chicken broth also that I'm using. I'm going to add some water. You may have to keep adding chicken broth and water to this, depending on how many greens you have. I have 3 bunches of greens. So I'm going to get some more chicken broth, put you on pause. I'll be right back. I'm sorry, they're low sodium. It's not unsalted. So I'm going to add more chicken broth. I've added 1 cup of water, and this is 2.5 cartons of low sodium chicken broth. And like I said, I'm going to let this simmer on low for about 45 minutes, because the smoked turkey wing is already cooked, and I washed it and I dried it and I put the slits in there. This is going to give us the base of our broth for our greens. And I'm going to turn the camera around and show you how I cut up the greens. To the broth, I've also added 1 onion. As you see, the toothpick sticking out, because I don't want any onions in my greens when they're completely cooked. If you do, go ahead and cut them up and put them in. I've stabbed them with toothpicks on all sides, because I just want the onion flavor. So I'm going to put the lid on, let this simmer for about 45 minutes to an hour, and then come back and show you how to add the greens. Okay, anybody that knows anything about greens, the hardest part is getting them clean. That's the most important. Mine have been soaking. I've been going back and forth from sink to sink for 3 hours, and as you see, they are perfectly clean, because you want to make sure there's no bugs, no worms, You can find all kinds of things in greens because they grow close to the ground. Some people like to tear them with their hands, and the stem, though, I want to tell you, these greens are full of tons of vitamins, and the stems have most of the vitamins, but I don't like stems in my greens, so I'm just showing you quickly how I'm removing the leaves off the stem. I'm not having any big stems in my greens. That's a very big turnoff for me. And you can tear them, rip them, but I'm going to go ahead and go through all of these, and there's a lot of different methods you can use. You can use a knife. I'm just going down the rib and taking the greens right off the stem. And then I'm going to go ahead and show you how I cut them up. I like them cut up small. I don't like to stab my fork in greens and have long strings of greens. And any greens that don't look good, discard them. And anything that doesn't look, like I said, last thing you want to do, the worst thing that can happen when cooking greens is to sit down and eat them and you find sand or grit. So, like I said, I did 3 hours going back and forth from sink to sink. You can add water, baking soda or salt to them if you like. I'm just, basically I did just plain cold water to soak my greens. And like I said, it took about 3 hours, just, letting the water run clear, letting them soak for about 20-30 minutes, and then cleaning them off, washing them, making sure that they were grit-free and pretty clean. So I'll put you guys on pause and get these all torn up. This is 3 bunches of greens, and anybody that knows anything about greens, they cook down to nothing. So depending on how many you need, you might have to gauge that. And those that are new to my channel, welcome. I upload 2 videos a week. I always include an inspirational quote and tell a crazy joke at the end. Those that know me know that nobody will be eating these greens at my house but me. So I'm definitely, see, even though that stem is small, I'm taking it off. A lot of people like the stem. Like I said, it's full of vitamins. If you choose to put them in there, that's your choice. I just don't like to see any stems in my greens, and I always feel like, especially if I go to a restaurant and they have a lot of stems, I feel like they're just being cheap and trying to stretch them. So I'm going to put you guys on pause and get these all ready to be cut. Okay, this is the pile of greens that I have after I've removed all the stems. You see, I just have the leaves. So I'm going to show you what I normally do. I take the greens and I stack them up. It doesn't have to be neat. Stack a bunch of them up at a time. It saves time. Like I said, I like mine cut fairly small. And then what you want to do is roll them up like so. Then take your knife and cut them. Then I like to cut them again because, like I said, I don't like long ribbons of greens in my greens. I like them not chopped, but like I said, I don't want to take my fork and pick up a, that's about the size that I like them. So I'll show you again. Move those over to the side. Take a bunch of greens, the leaves, stack them all together like so. Doesn't have to be neat, so you can see. And then roll them to, I see a stem. Don't like the stem, so you don't want any stems in mine, as little as possible. Then roll them up nice and tight. See another stem there, so I'm going to pull that off. And take my knife and cut them just like so. Because see, the ribbons are kind of long for me. Like I said, I don't like them that long because when you stab them with the fork, it's a little difficult to eat. So I'm just cutting them this way while my turkey leg is simmering. And you can use bacon, you can use a ham hock, you don't have to use any meat at all, but if you're gonna go vegan, I would add some liquid smoke to give it that smoky flavor that greens need. Like I said, greens are only as good as the pot liquor. So I'm gonna put you guys back on pause and get the rest of these cut up. Okay, this is how much I ended up with after I went through and cut them and picked through them. And it looks like quite a bit, but trust me, when they cook down, there'll barely be anything. But I only cook for one person. Those that know me, like I said, my husband will not eat anything green. So I'm going to take these and put them in the colander, and I'll let them sit until the smoked turkey wing has cooked for at least 45 minutes and gotten tender with the onion. I just want the onion to release the flavor. Now, if you like onions in your greens, go ahead and cut them up and put them in there. I like my greens to just have greens, even though I am going to use a little bit of meat for pictures, because I know that's the way most people like to have them. And this is a traditional dish in the South of the United States, usually on Sunday. But if you have time to cook them, some people have them any day of the week. But they do take a couple hours to cook depending on the tenderness. So I'm going to put you guys back on pause and wait for the smoked turkey to be at the right consistent temperature so I can add the greens. Okay, the turkey leg wing has been cooking for 45 minutes. I'm going to take the onions out with the turkey wing. That's why I put the toothpicks on there, so I could keep them together. And like I said, if you like onions in yours, then just cut them up and put them in there. Now I'm going to add the greens. Whoops. Sometimes you have to add these in 2 batches because the pot will be too full, but I'm not cooking that many because it's just for me. So they should probably all fit. And then I'm going to show you how I season them. I got a couple secrets. One of the secrets is the chicken base. Yeah, these will all fit in here. And I'm using a Dutch oven. So those will pretty much all go down in there. And I'm going to add this. It's about, it's hard to see, about 1/4 of a bottle of hot sauce. My hot liquor has a red color, and this is what makes it spicy. And if you ever use red hot sauce, it's not really hot. It has more seasoning and flavor than most hot sauce that you use. I'm going to use some garlic powder. You can use fresh garlic if you have it. I didn't have any, but sometimes I use garlic powder. I'm using a little seasoning salt. And I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of brown sugar. And I'm going to add, if you don't like vinegar, don't add the vinegar, but I love a vinegar base to my greens. So I'm going to add 1/4 of a cup of apple cider vinegar. Most people use distilled vinegar when they make it. And then my secret is the chicken soup base. I'm going to use 1 tablespoon of the soup base. And then mix that all together. And then you cook your greens to your desired tenderness. See, these are all mixed in. I'll turn the camera on and give you a better look. I'm going to put the onions back in, along with the smoked turkey wing, and let these cook for a minimum of an hour. Like I said, I'll keep checking them because I like mine pretty well done. Let me turn the camera around. Okay, so that's how they look. I'm going to put the lid on and let these cook for at least an hour, and then check them, and you want to check your seasoning. And I offset the vinegar with the brown sugar because, like I said, they won't be sweet. But if you don't like the vinegar, like I said, do not put it in. And this gives it like a red hue to the pot liquor. So I'll see you guys back in a little bit. Oh, I forgot the black pepper. I like a lot of black pepper in most of my foods. I'm going to heavily pepper these. Give it some extra flavor. Sorry about that. I had the water running in there. This is cast iron, so this is really, really hot. So I'm going to let this cook for an hour and then check it and show you how tender I like my greens. And if you like this video, please like, subscribe, and share. More importantly, leave me some comments. Let me know how you like your greens when you cook them. If you only cook them for holidays, I have friends when I was growing up, they had them every Sunday. It's a staple. They're very thick leaves, so everybody likes them different. My mother likes hers crunchy. I will not eat them crunchy. I like them super, super tender. So I'll check you back in a little bit. Okay, the greens have been cooking for an hour and a half, and they're super tender, like I like them. If you don't like them this tender, then definitely don't cook them this long. And they're pretty spicy, as the title states, spicy greens, spicy collard greens. So if you don't want them this spicy, go a little bit less on the red hot sauce that I added. I'm now fishing out the onions that I put on the toothpicks, because I don't want any onions in my greens. If you like onions in your greens, then by all means cut them up. I'm going to take out the turkey wing, and as you see, it's coming off the bone. So now I'm going to get this set up. And like I said, thanks for watching. If you like this channel, please like, subscribe, and share, and more importantly, comment. You see the red broth? That's what makes it spicy. It makes these greens different than most people's greens. The broth is usually much clearer. So I'm going to turn the camera around and get ready to set up for my joke. Okay, everyone, this is the final product. This is Jen's recipe for spicy, smoky, salty, vinegary, and savory green collard greens. Supposedly in the African American community, they came over from the slaves, and they didn't become famous or a staple until the slaves started serving them to the slave owners for dinner, and it became a delicacy. And according to a lot of African Americans, when you eat them around New Year's, they're supposed to give you prosperity and make sure you have money for the new year. So in my family, we always had greens on New Year, so I want to give you guys a recipe. So the broth is really rich. The greens are tender. Like I said, check them. I cooked mine for an hour and a half. If you don't like them as tender, then if you like them more crunchy like my mother, then just keep checking them and decrease the cooking time. So let me tell you guys my joke. A cop pulls over an old lady at a traffic stop looking for Christmas drunk drivers. An officer walks up to the car. After a quick greeting, takes the documentation she has ready for him. He notices a license to conceal and carry a pistol, and he asks, "Ma'am, do you have a firearm in the vehicle?" She replies, "Well, yes, I do, officer." Smiles a little bit as the little lady was no more than 5 feet tall and 90 pounds. And she had to be 85 years old, 85 or 95 years old. Maybe, ma'am, maybe, the officer says. He's thinking. Ma'am, may I ask what type of firearm do you have? Yes, well, sir, she replies. I got a 9mm in my purse. I keep a .45 in the center console here. And I've also got a Magnum in the glove compartment and a shotgun in the back. The officer's taken aback a little bit. Is that it? He asks, half kidding. No, officer, she says. I actually have a pistol grip shotgun in the trunk, too. Ma'am, what exactly are you afraid of? The little old lady says, come here, officer. The officer leans in and she says quietly to him, not a damn thing. I thought that was pretty cute. So anyway, like I said, thanks for watching. Please come back for the next one. God bless and have a good evening.